Hey YouTube, it's Adam from I'm a Music Mogul, and welcome to another remake video. Today we'll be remaking Pray For Me by Kendrick Lamar featuring The Weeknd off of the Black Panther soundtrack. Now that movie is being released today, so I figured let's do a track that's coming off of that album. So let's get straight to it. First things first, let's set our tempo to 100 beats per minute. And let's just work in order here. So we're gonna just drag in a sample that I took from the original song, which is that intro sort of lead line. There's a lot of movement in that sound, so I didn't feel like redoing it, to be honest with you. So we're just gonna go ahead and take that. And then off of that, we're gonna start with that bass sort of sound that is played throughout the entire track. So let's go ahead and bring in Logic's ES2 synthesizer. And the preset that we'll be working off of, it's going off my screen here, but it's synth bass. And the preset is called acid bass. Let's come back to this in a moment and draw in this pattern. Alright, so there it is right there. Let's just go ahead and duplicate that, hit Command R on our keyboard, and we'll copy it over the 4 bars. Alright, next let's go ahead and open up Logic's ES2 and just adjust the setting a little bit. Just gonna pull up the decay a little bit. And then pull out the release. And pull it up a little bit. I'm gonna pull up the drive. Let's go ahead and just lower this volume here. I'm gonna pull down the cutoff. Put in a little bit more distortion. Alright, so let's just leave it like that for now. Next what we're going to do is bring in Logic's new plugin. It's the multi-effects plugin, the Fat Effects. And let's put on a bandpass. We're going to filter out some of those lows to about, let's say, 950 hertz. We're going to reject the mix about 50%. We're going to change this to sharp. Next, let's go ahead and add in some more distortion. What the fuck is going on? Let's bring in some modulator effects over here. I'll bring in like a doubler type of effect here. We're going to bring in some bass as well. We'll push this all the way up. Our tune will be, let's push it around 140 hertz. And we're going to change the type to classic. Let's go ahead and close that, and let's bring in a little bit more distortion because the sound is really distorted in the original track. We're going to bring in overdrive. I'm going to push the tone all the way to its full value at 20K, and we're going to bring this down to about 2 dBs. And there is that main sound that will get looped for the entire track. All right, next let's go ahead and create a new software instrument track. And we're going to bring in Logic's EXS24 sampler instrument. And we're going to bring in the drum kit I created for this tutorial, the Pray For Me drum kit. Let's make this nice and loud. And let's bring in that snare. All right, next let's go ahead and duplicate this track and let's draw in that kick. All right, next let's go ahead and bring in a new software instrument track. And we're gonna bring in a sort of 808 sub bass that's gonna layer everything nicely at the low end. Let's bring in Logic's ES2 synthesizer. That is the retro synth, I don't want that one. Let's close that. And we're gonna bring in ES2 synthesizer. And we're gonna bring in that 808 preset we always use. And we can come back to that in a moment. Let's go ahead and draw in that pattern. It's a fairly easy one. All right, let's go ahead and open up Logic's ES2. Just gonna pull up the attack a little bit. Maybe pull down the release a little bit. Sustain a little bit. Maybe we'll pull up the distortion all the way. Maybe we'll pull down the cutoff actually. Alright, so that's sort of like a distorted type of filtered 808 that's going to be layering the entire track. Alright, next go ahead and create another software instrument track. We're going to bring in Logic's ES2 synthesizer, and this is going to layer up that 808s. We're going to bring in the Drake Moog Bass preset we like to use in tutorials. Let's close that for now, and we're just going to bring this down over here. Now the notes on this is going to get dragged out a little bit longer. We're going to get something like this. All right, next we're just gonna add in some congos over here. I'm actually just gonna use an Apple loop here. Let's go to our loop browser. Let's go to Congo and see if we can find something here. It's a simple one. All right, let's take this one over here just to kind of move along the tutorial. It's gonna sound something like this. All right, next we're going to bring in here is this little Vogue sort of hit sample that they have on the ones here. It's going to sound something like this. Just dragged it in. Let's go ahead and close this up. Now we're going to bring in one more percussion loop, and this is like a third-party loop I had that I found kind of fit the track. I'm just going to go ahead and drag it in right here. It's a little bit of a faster percussion loop, and it sounds like this. And that's just going to loop out here just to kind of fill out this track a little bit, and we're just going to push it back in the background. You're not going to hear it too much, but it's going to be there. We have this. All right, so let's just arrange as we go here. Next, we get our kick, 808, and all these other instruments over here. It's gonna go for a little bit as the Weeknd does his thing. We're gonna drag in this sample over here. We're bringing on the ones. And then we're gonna drag this over once again. Let's carry over this sample. And then we're gonna create a new software instrument track. And we're gonna get to that sort of string section that happens before the chorus. So let's get to that right now. All right, so for this sound, we're gonna go ahead and just bring in a preset that Logic has. I think it was called Classic Synth Brass, and here it is right here. And let's go ahead and draw in that pattern. Let's change this to pencil tool. Let's just go ahead and solo this out for now. Let's copy this over. All right, let's copy this over once again. All right, next let's go ahead and open up the retro synth over here. I'm just going to manipulate the way this sound goes. So we're not going to let it die off so quickly. We're going to pull this up. All right, so we get something like that. Let's go ahead and bring it with everything else. Good, just like that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to arrange this a little bit over here. Let's just drag this over. All right, so this plays out, and this is going to die out at the end. Our kick drum is going to play out one more time, and this dies as well. And in here we get our congos come back into play. This comes back here. Let's just pull this out. This comes back. This comes back as well. All right, so in that break over there, what we get is an effect sweep. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag that in. And it sounds something like this. All right, next go ahead and copy over our drums once again. Copy that over. Let's cut this back, I think. right, then we get into our nice big chorus. I'm just gonna copy this over. We're gonna go ahead and create a new software instrument track. And let's just put this under here. It's gonna be a secondary sort of string set, and it's a different chord set for the chorus as well. So let's go ahead and draw in those chords. All right, so again, we're gonna use another Logic preset here. And this one was called Classic Brass Pad. Here it is right here. And let's start off with those chords here. We're gonna go ahead and layer that up with this same sound here as well, but playing the same chord set. Let's just see if we need to adjust the sound a little bit here. There we go. All right, here is how it sounds with everything else. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and duplicate this entire section over here. Push that back just like that. And we're gonna duplicate this like this, this like this. We're gonna copy over these other congos right over here, percussion loop. We're gonna create a new drum track over here. And we're just gonna go ahead and place in some hi-hats. Change this back to our brush tool. All right, then what we're gonna do right here after that, we're gonna copy over this drums over here. We're gonna take out the hi-hat. We're gonna bring back this Moog bass over here. We'll bring back this vocal effect. And we get something like this when Kendrick Lamar comes in. Okay, so these sound, I think, a little bit high. Let's just go ahead and just pitch this down. All right, so I'll pitch that down 2 octaves and that sounds better. Not gonna stretch that out, I just wanna copy that over. All right, so that is pretty much the beat right here. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the remake we just put together. Kendrick Lamar's track Pray For Me featuring The Weeknd. So that is Kendrick Lamar's track Pray For Me featuring The Weeknd off of the Black Panther soundtrack. For your Logic users out there, I'm going to go ahead and save this entire session for you guys and place that as a downloadable link in the description box below this video. For your non-Logic users out there, got your back as well. I'm going to go ahead and export all these MIDI stems for you and include the audio loops as well. And of course, I'll include the drum kit that we've used in this tutorial. You can find that playback also in the description box below this video. If you do have any questions on this, or just want to chat about Black Panther, talk about what you think about the movie, what you think about this remake, you can let me know in the comments below. And for more good videos like this one, remember, thumbs up, share it, and of course hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Later. Peace.